They tell us that the great empty quarter of the Arabian Peninsula is a wasteland where nothing has ever lived and nothing can ever grow. Mainstream archaeology claims that the City of Pillars mentioned in the Holy Quran was merely a spiritual parable designed to warn of the dangers of pride. But in 1992, the NASA space shuttle Endeavour pointed its high-tech ground-penetrating radar at the shifting dunes of Oman and discovered the impossible. Buried beneath hundreds of feet of sand were the tracks of ancient caravan routes that converged on a singular, gargantuan geometric shape. A city with walls 60 feet high and massive columns that had been invisible to the human eye for thousands of years. The world knew it as Iram, the Atlantis of the sands, the capital of the Ad tribe who ruled the ancient world before the Great Flood. The Quran describes a city with columns, like which had not been created in the lands, built by a race of men whose physical stature and strength made them giants among humans. Yet, why was this discovery abruptly removed from the international headlines just weeks after it was found? Why has the Saudi military established restricted no-go zones over the specific coordinates revealed by the NASA radar? Today, we are reopening the suppressed files of the City of Giants. We are following the satellite data and the prophetic warnings to find out what really happened to the people who claim to be the masters of the earth. History is a curated lie, but the pillars of the Ad remain as a signature in the stone. Welcome to the archive. The story of the lost city begins with the tribe of Ad, the direct descendants of the survivors of Noah's Ark. They were a civilization that reached a level of technological and architectural mastery that rivals our own. While the rest of the world lived in primitive shelters, the Ad carved their homes directly into the mountains and built a metropolis of stone and silver. According to the chronicles, they possessed the secret of lifting heavy objects through sound and frequency, a technology that allowed them to move 80-ton stone blocks as if they were made of wood. This allowed them to construct a city centered around 20 massive, glowing towers that could be seen from space. But as their power grew, so did their arrogance. The Ad tribe believed they had defeated death itself, mocking the warnings of the prophet Hud and claiming that no power in the universe could destroy their works. They became a first-time civilization that forgot their origins, believing they were the gods of their own reality. Mainstream history tries to tell us that such giants never existed, calling the 13-foot bedstead of King Og and the skeletons of Bashan mere folklore. However, the excavation of the Ubar site in 1992 provided physical evidence that the columns described in scripture were real. The lead researcher, Nicholas Clapp, used satellite imaging to trace the paths of camel caravans that were hidden by the dunes. These paths were not random. They formed a perfect geometric network that focused on a central citadel of power. When they finally broke through the sand, they found a city that had not been destroyed by time, but by a sudden violent catastrophe. The ground had literally swallowed the city whole, as if a localized seismic event had opened the earth beneath its feet. But here is the detail that the official reports from the 1990s refused to disclose to the public. Deep beneath the central citadel, the archaeological team found a series of vertical shafts that descended miles into the subterranean crust. These were not water wells or storage rooms. They were lined with a polished metallic substance that does not match any mineral found in the region. As the team lowered sensors into these shafts, the electronic equipment began to register the Sakina frequency, a rhythmic electromagnetic pulse that is still active today. This is the same vibration that was detected beneath the Great Sphinx and within the forbidden vaults of the Grand Canyon. It suggests that Iram was not just a city of gold and pillars, it was a node in a global energy grid. Shortly after this data was logged, the mission was taken over by private military contractors working for global energy conglomerates. The local workers were dismissed, and a high-security fence was erected that still stands over the ruins today. Leaked military memos from the Riyadh Regional Command suggest that the City of Pillars is being used as a staging ground for a deep-crust excavation project. They aren't looking for ancient pottery. They are trying to access the subterranean generators that the Ad tribe used to power their empire. Prophetic traditions warn that when the truth of Iram is finally revealed, it will mark the beginning of the final reckoning for the current world order. The true owners of these pillars were removed by a divine storm, a screaming wind that lasted 7 nights and 8 days, turning the giants into hollowed-out tree trunks. The Quran describes this wind not as a natural weather event, but as a directed force that specifically targeted the arrogance of the elite. Today, we see the same patterns of secrecy and pride returning to the landscape. If the technology of the Ad is being revived in the restricted zones of the Rub al-Khali, then we are repeating the mistakes of our predecessors. Satellite imagery continues to show localized blurring over the Iram coordinates, preventing civilian researchers from seeing the structures that are emerging as the sands shift. They are afraid that if humanity realizes what a leveled civilization looks like, they would stop obeying the masters of the present. The stones of Iram are no longer silent. They are groaning under the weight of the new world. We are walking on top of a library of judgment that we have been taught to ignore. The ground is vibrating, and the light of the forgotten pillars is beginning to seep through the fissures in the sand. Whatever was captured by the NASA shuttle was only the tip of the spear. The archive is opening, and the secrets of the giants can no longer be redacted. Are we looking at our prehistoric past or the skeletal remains of our own future? The countdown to the revelation is approaching its end. Subscribe to Dark Era Docs for more forbidden history.